All right, geometry. I hope you were able to get whatever you needed to get done yesterday. And now we're moving on to chapter 7. Hope everybody's staying safe out there on the roads and not having to go too far from home. So today we're talking about similar polygons. This whole chapter is basically about similar triangles, but just to understand similar triangles, you got to understand what makes them similar. Okay, so polygons with the same shape but different size are similar. Okay, congruent triangles and congruent polygons means everything's the same, but same shape and different size is similar. So polygons are similar if two things are true. Okay, so first of all, they're corresponding long word. Corresponding angles are congruent, okay, and then their corresponding sides are our new word from last lesson, proportional. Okay. Excuse me. So you got to really make sure those two things are true for them to be similar. Okay. The ratio, so the fraction of corresponding sides, is called the scale factor. The scale factor. So no matter what two sides you compare, they should be the same scale factor once you simplify. And then finally, if polygons are similar, then their perimeters are also proportional. So if you add up all the sides for each, that will be proportional in the same way that the sides are proportional. Okay, so when we're looking at scale factor, first of all, keep in mind order matters. Okay, that says order. It's kind of hard to see. So order matters. Just like when we talked about similar or congruent triangles. Okay, so the order is very important when we look at these. What is the scale factor of ABC to DEF? So ABC, I'm just going to look at the first two letters. So AB is 8 over DE is 12. Well, let's see. 8 over 12, both divide by 4. So if I divide by 4, I get 2 over 3. There it is. Well, let's look at the scale factor of DEF to ABC. Well, I'm going to look at the first two again. So DE is 12, AB is 8. Well, again, divide by 4, you get 3 over 2. So again, you can kind of see the scale factors are the same, but depending on the order of which triangle's first or whatever, the scale factor is going to be flipped around. Okay, and now look at the perimeter. Well, let's add those up. So DEF is first, so we've got 12 plus 15 plus 21. I'm going to do that in my calculator real quick. So DEF's perimeter is 12 plus 15 plus 21 is 48. And then 10 plus 14. For ABC, the perimeter is 10 plus 14 is 24 plus 8 is 32. And so I can divide both of those by, let's do 8 first. So 8 divides that to 6 over 4, which reduces to 3 over 2. So, as you can see, these two are the same. Okay, a side to a side, perimeter to a perimeter. All right, so let's look at the next one here. It says the valid similarity statement must match corresponding angles and sides. Write a similarity statement for the triangles above. Okay. So in that case, we would have similarity statement could be triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Now, keep in mind, the order matters. So look at the corresponding parts. Let's make sure we're in the right spot. So A came first. Look at the markings on A and D. B came second. Look at the markings on B and E. And then F and C, 3 and 3. So the order is very important when you're looking at the similarity statement. Okay? And that symbol I used is that little squiggly line, like what you would see over a congruent symbol. That's called a tilde. Okay? A lot of the times I'll just call it a squiggly though. Tilde. So let's look at this first one. So it says list all the congruent angles and write a proportion that relates to the corresponding side. So it says JKL is already similar to PMN. Okay, so JKL means J is the first one, P is the first one. So those two are congruent. So angle J is congruent to angle P. Good. K is second, M is second. So angle K congruent to angle M. And then finally the third one, L and N. So angle L congruent to angle N. All right. And so when we look at the sides, we can just set this up like each fraction is going to be equal to each other. So like our first two sides would be JK and PM. So JK over PM. So the proportion should be equal to all the others. So KL and MN, KL over MN, and then the third one, JL and PN. JL congruent to PN. And that's your proportions. Okay, that's your, it's kind of an extended proportion. All those would be equal. All right. So let's look at a couple more examples here. We're just going to be looking at number 8 here through the rest. Excuse me. So it says find the values of x and y. So keep in mind all these scale factors have to be the same. So if I'm trying to find x and y, I need to know one of the scale factors. Okay, so in this case JH would be first and second, so DE. So 15 and 9 go together. So I'm going to go 9 over 15. Okay, well, 9 over 15 can reduce, so I can figure out my scale factor, 3 over 5. Okay, so if that's the case, 3 over 5 should be the same ratio as all these others. So let's find x first. So GH is the first and last. So DF is first and last. So that'd be DF is 12 over x. And now I can use what I know with cross multiplication. Okay, I set that up, the small triangle over the big triangle. So 3 times x is 3x. 5 times 12 is 60. And I divide, get x equals 20. Okay. Well, let's do the same for the other. So y and 14 go together. EF, JG. So 14 over y. So 3 over 5 is again my scale factor. And 14 over y. So we've got y times 3, and then 5 times 14, which is 70. And when I divide by 3, I get y equals, I'm going to use my calculator on that one. I think it's 23.3, but I'm going to check. Divided by 3, 23.3 is my answer. Okay, and there we are. So let's go ahead and skip down one to number 10. Same deal. AGM. AGM is similar to KXD. Okay. So find the value of x. Well, in this case, I don't have that third side. Okay. But what I do know is each of these needs to be the same. So, like for instance, AG should go with KX. So KX is here, so I'm going to go 32 over x plus 3. Should be equal to GM. GM should go with XD. So 36 over x plus 6. Okay, so I don't know the scale factor in this case, but it's okay because I can just use my proportionality. Okay, so I've got 32 times that. That's going to be 32x plus 32 times 6 is 192. Remember, you always need to distribute. Okay. Goodness, I can't write. Hold on a second. So, equals, there we go. And then 36 times x is 36x, plus 36 times 3 is 108. Okay, so now we can go ahead and solve for x. So, when I get x on one side, I get 4x, oops, so that's 192, so 4x plus 108. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 108 to the other side. 192 minus 108 is 84. And then I divide by 4, I get x equals 21. There we are. Found the value of x. Okay, so if it says they're similar, you got to trust that and use the proportionality. Set up a proportion. Okay, so the last one we're going to look at is right here. It's kind of a weird one because the triangles are kind of put together, but that's okay. Okay, we got to just understand one of these triangles is within the other. So this triangle here is within the bigger triangle. Okay, so BNV and BRG are the two triangles. Okay, so it says BR, so this whole thing here is 4x plus 7. Okay, 4x plus 7. And BG, this whole thing down here, is 18. Okay, find the value of x. Well, let's take a look at what we got. I've got BN is 12, and BN goes with BR. So I can go ahead and say the small over the big. So 12 over 4x plus 7 equals, and then what else do we have? BV. BV is 8. BV goes with BG, which is 18. Okay, so I've got it all set up. Now we can go ahead and solve for x once again. So cross multiply. I'm going to use the parentheses this time. Before I didn't, but again, make sure we're distributing every time you do that. Okay, so 12 times 18 is 216. And so, distribute, that's 32x plus 56 equals 216. Now we can go ahead and solve for x. So I subtract 56 to both sides. 216 minus 56 going to be 160. And that looks like it's going to come out nicely, but I'm not really sure without a calculator. So 160 divided by 32 is 5. And there's our x value. All right. So for your homework, I want you to go ahead and do those last two there on the back side that we did not get to. If you need to go back in the video and look at a couple things, you can. But go ahead and do numbers 9 and 11 and see what you get on the x values. And if you have questions, I'll be available. So just email me and we can set up a Zoom, or I can email back and forth with you. Okay? And then we'll be back at school next week, but make sure we're checking our Canvas page as we go. All right? Peace.